Hello everyone, I'm Elisa Ilardi and I'm working for Ithaca, especially for the rapid mapping service of Copernicus. And today I will present you the applied research work carried out with my fantastic team and called Semi-Automatic Approach of Burnt Area Extraction based on different indexes. So the main goal of this study was to develop a tool to extract in a semi-automatic way the burnt area using satellite images and based on different indexes. Of course, this tool was also tested and validated using different case studies derived from rapid mapping and risk recovery mapping activation. This research was born for the needs of the Copernicus Rapid Mapping Service to produce a map of the area that are affected by a disaster like a fire in a really short time. So they use a semi-automatic extraction tool followed by a manual correction by a team of experts, turned out to be one of the keys to reduce significantly the delivery time. So the plugin was developed in a PyQGIS environment, and it is divided into two sub-plugins. The first one that you can see in the green box, that it's called Burn Index Tool, and the second one in the red box called Extraction of Burnt Area. In the following slide, I will explain you the workflow. So for the first plugin, we need as input to choose between 5 different indexes. The first 2 ones are specific for vegetation study and are the normalize difference vegetation index and the soil adjust vegetation index. The last 3 ones are specific for burnt area delineation and are the normalized burn ratio and the burnt area index for MODIS and burnt area index for Sentinel-2. The second input of our first plugin are the bands of the pre and post satellite images. In fact, based on the chosen index, the tool will use the spectral domain of red, near infrared, and short wavelength infrared to calculate the indexes. So this one is the first output. It's a raster that represents the chosen index. The raster must be manually analyzed by the operator, who must visually identify the value of burnt and unburnt threshold pixel that will be used as input for the second plugin. So as said, for the second plugin, we have as input the threshold value, the index raster that is the output of the first plugin. And the tool will classify the raster in a Boolean raster, which is divided into burnt and unburnt area. After that, a majority filter will be applied and a burnt area polygon will be extracted, to which smoothing with a filling of the holes under a certain value will be filling, and shapefile will be saved. In order to avoid false positive caused by clouds, smoke, and shadows, it's also possible to use as input for the plugin a shapefile of these elements that will be used as erasing feature on the extraction burn area. So this is the output of the plugins. You can see on the left side the extraction of the each indexes, and on the right side the ground truth. So our tool was also tested using 10 different case studies derived from rapid mapping and risk and recovery mapping activation list. All these case studies are located in different parts of the world, and all the area of interest have a different size. We also decided to use as satellite images the Sentinel-2 because they are free with easy access and with a great spatial and temporal resolution. So 2 Sentinel-2 for each area were downloaded. These images were acquired a few days or weeks before and after the fires. This to reduce the problem of the difference of the vegetation caused by the season. And all images were also downloaded as a level 2A, so with the atmospheric, radiometric, and geometric correction. So after the test, we decided also to validate our results with a thematic validation with a binary classification. Of course, it was not possible for us to have a real ground truth. And so we decided to use a ground truth manual digitalization of the burnt area by the expert of the topics and based on a Sentinel-2. So for the validation, we calculated 5 indicators that are the union burnt area, the overlap of the burnt areas, the burnt area of the ground truth, the burnt area of the index extraction, and the unburnt areas. All these indicators were then used to calculate the 3 final factors that we need for our validation, that are the overall thematic accuracy, the commission, and the omission. The commission practically is the unburnt area that the tool classified as burnt, and the omission are the burnt area that the tool doesn't recognize as such. So the result of our validation allow us to do some consideration about the best index for our needs in our rapid mapping and the risk recovery mapping production. But
5
also,
minutes, please.
Yeah, I'm almost finished, but also about the environmental aspect that could influence the final result. So in the graph, you can see that the NBR is the best index, of course, because it's the most famous index in the literature. The second one, unexpected, is the SAVI, because it's index based on red and infrared spectrum. And at the end, we have the BAIS2 that is unexpected result because is an index specific for burnt area and also for Sentinel. So we were expecting to have a higher accuracy. So in conclusion, we can say that our tool allow us to reduce the time of about 40%. So it's really great for us. That the best index is the MBR. And that, of course, we have some limits in this study that is caused by some factor like the fire type. In case of canopy fire, we will have a burnt area more homogeneous. And so the extraction by the tool will be more precise. In case of grazing fire, the extraction of the tool will be full of holes caused by the canopy that will remain green. But we also noticed that in case of little fires, it doesn't work using the tool because it's more easier and faster to manually digitalize it. And let's also say that the biggest limits of our study could be also considered as an inspiration for future development. And this limit is the fact that the choice made by the expert is strongly linked with his competence. And it's also a subjective choice. So with this, I complete my presentation and thank you all for the attention.